Okay, I'm pleased to say that I can now speak to Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, who's in Islamabad. He is the Pakistan People's Party chairman and the country's former foreign minister. It's a pleasure to have you on. There's an awful lot we could talk about here. I'd like to start at what I see as kind of the instigating incident to all of this escalation. The terrorist attack, April 22nd, 26 people killed in Indian-administered Kashmir. Now, Pakistan denied involvement, called for an independent investigation. India was so convinced that Pakistan was somehow involved, it's launched these deadly attacks. So I want to ask you, are you certain Pakistan wasn't involved?
Thank you for having me on. And just as I, in the past, condemned the terrorist attack in Indian-held Kashmir, just as the Pakistani people and government condemned that attack, surely you'll join me in condemning the attack on Pakistani civilians that resulted in the death of women and even children yesterday in the dark of night by India. As far as that terrorist attack is concerned, Pakistan, as you mentioned, has said time and time again, we are ready for an impartial international inquiry because we are clear, our hands are clean. We had nothing to do with this terrorist attack. It is India that has rebuffed Pakistan's consistent, legitimate, rational offer in response to this terrorist attack. We see the attacks by India last night in Pakistan is nothing less than acts of war. Our civilians were targeted. Muzaffarabad, Kotli, these aren't barren outbacks. These are cities where civilians lived 2 hours away from Islamabad. No sovereign state would tolerate any such action. And when has it become a norm internationally for people without any investigation? Everybody is entitled to charge someone with a crime, but then everybody is innocent until proven guilty. India did not wait until the bodies were even cold. They started blaming Pakistan, and they have yet to produce any substantive proof, not before us or anybody else, or even before you, the media, to substantiate Pakistan's involvement in that heinous terrorist attack. It does not justify in any way, shape, or forms the actions that India has taken. And as you mentioned, tensions between the two countries now are at a peak, and Pakistan reserves its right to respond.
Why do you think India refused that invitation and chose not to accept an independent investigation?
I think it is a perfectly, not only a legitimate and viable solution to the current crisis, but it also provides an institutional forum and with potential international and bilateral legitimacy, not only to get to the root of this terrorist attack, but also any future terrorist attack that was to take place in India or in Pakistan. As you know, both countries have a history of blaming each other for such incidents that take place in our countries. And if there was an international mechanism for us to get to the root cause of this, then neither Pakistan or India would be left at the mercy of these non-state actors and terrorist groups and forced into such conflicts as a result of their actions. It is baffling to anyone who is legitimately interested in finding a solution for terrorism that why India would back away from such an offer, but that's exactly what they've done. They've refused Pakistan's challenge practically for an impartial inquiry and instead chose to target innocent civilians.
There was a word I heard twice today. Once it came from India's Defence Minister, Rajnath Singh, and once from the Pakistan Prime Minister, Shehbaz Sharif. The word was avenge. So both India and Pakistan want to avenge deaths inflicted by the other side. Can you see how this quest for vengeance from both sides is only going to continue a cycle of death? And how would you stop that cycle?
I wouldn't want to put words in the Prime Minister's mouth. I haven't heard him use the word avenge. Obviously, international law grants neither Pakistan nor India the right to retribution or to seek vengeance, but it does grant us the right to self-defense. And what India did last night was unprovoked, deliberate acts of war. They launched missile, drones, and airstrikes on Pakistan's sovereign territory and targeted civilians. They targeted civilians civilian institutions, including a dam. We are able to prove all of this. India is still unable to prove Pakistan had any role in the terrorist attack that took place in Indian-occupied Kashmir 2 weeks ago. So they have no justification, but Pakistan, under international law, has a right to defend itself, has a right to respond to these military actions by India.
I totally get your point. I'm just thinking forward, though. If Pakistan responds, India will use the same argument that now they have a right to respond. How do you stop this continuing?
I think that as far as what India's ultimate actions will be, I cannot say, but judging by their past actions, ever since this sort of RSS extremist mindset government has taken over in India, we've seen it grow as an increasingly rogue player in the region, where it has conducted such irresponsible actions in the past, threatening peace in South Asia, which has global implications. So I would call on the international community to not only intervene and hold India accountable for the actions that took place last night, but call for sanity to prevail in Delhi, and to join in Pakistan's demand for an impartial inquiry that has the potential of not only solving our imminent crisis, this specific terrorist attack, but also providing us with a way forward. So just as you say, anytime in the future, if any such terrorist attack does take place, we should have an institutional mechanism that can get to the bottom of it and ensure that we don't risk armed conflict between two nuclear-armed nations, but we continue to tackle terrorism.
Can I just thank you so much for your time and analysis, giving us the benefit of your experience. My guest is Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, live from Islamabad. He is the Pakistan People's Party chairman. Thank you, sir.